We'd like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Nikita Gupta. She will be presenting on structural, biometric, and refractive outcomes of two treatment strategies in Zone 1 ROP.
Good evening, everyone. So, as we all know, that ROP in Zone 1 is a distinct entity which is more susceptible to adverse structure. Sorry. So, as we all know, that ROP in Zone the timer is on. ROP in Zone 1 is a distinct entity as it is more susceptible to adverse structural and functional outcomes. Landmark studies like ETROP and cryo-ROP had only less than 50% of their study population in Zone 1, and they also that laser is the standard of care. However, poorer outcomes were seen in Zone 1 compared to Zone 2. Studies like beta-ROP and Rainbow also showed success with bevacizumab and ranibizumab. However, there is limited literature about the outcomes of treatment modalities in Zone 1 ROP, with majority studies either not including or reporting outcomes in aggressive ROP, and also not including babies with heavier birth weights. Reports on biometric parameters and refractive outcomes with regards to difference in treatment strategy, that is laser and anti-VEGF, is also inconclusive. So we studied the structural and refractive outcomes of intravitreal ranibizumab and laser in Zone 1 ROP. We included all infants screened as per RBSK guidelines who had treatment requiring disease in Zone 1 and excluded infants with congenital systemic or ocular abnormality, infants with problems with media clarity, and previously treated ROP. We did a baseline REDCam fundus photo of both the eyes of all the infants. Axis length was measured using A-scan biometry. Cycloplegic retinoscopy was done. And keratometry, lens thickness, and anterior chamber depths were measured by swaddling the baby in a horizontal position on the ASOCT machine. The keratometry and ACD values were obtained using the topography map, and the lens thickness was measured manually by dropping a calipers from the anterior to the posterior lens surface. Infants were randomized into two groups, that is double frequency Nd:YAG laser and intravitreal ranibizumab 0.25 milligram in both the eyes. In case of recurrence in the laser group, retreatment was done with laser photocoagulation. However, in the ranibizumab group, retreatment was done with the intravitreal ranibizumab after a minimum interval of 28 days. The primary outcome was to see the percentage of eyes with regression of disease, those with unfavorable structural outcomes, and those with recurrence of ROP. The secondary outcome was to note the change in baseline the change in biometric and retinoscopy values at 3, 6, and 12 months after receiving treatment. Coming to the observation and results, the demographic profile was similar in the two groups. The risk factors were also similar in the two groups. However, the mean birth weight was slightly higher in the ranibizumab group. And the majority of the infants had birth weights between 1100 to 1500 grams. The baseline characteristics with regard to the type of ROP and the zone of disease was also similar in the two groups. Out of the 36 eyes which received laser, 28 eyes were evaluated at the end of 3 months, and we saw that no additional treatment was required in 93% of the eyes who underwent laser, and 2 of the eyes had unfavorable structural outcome. In the 30 eyes evaluated in the ranibizumab group, less than 50% of the eyes required no additional treatment, and one-third of the cohort had a recurrence of plus and subsequently received laser and ranibizumab or laser if there was a presence of FVP. 3 eyes had unfavorable structural outcome, and 2 eyes developed cataract. Majority of the eyes in both the groups had regression between 2 to 3 weeks following treatment. In the ranibizumab group, the postmenstrual age at the time of recurrence was majorly lied in the postmenstrual age of 39 to 41 weeks. At 6 months, we evaluated the ranibizumab treated eyes, and we saw in the 22 eyes which received ranibizumab and had and did not underwent laser or had unfavorable structural outcomes. Only less than two eyes had vascularization still limited to zone 2 posterior. We also did an angiography of for 20 eyes in the ranibizumab group, and we saw that 6 eyes still had a temporal avascular retina even after receiving 2 intravitreal ranibizumab, and 8 eyes had temporal avascular retina with presence of leakage. 4 eyes had temporal avascular retina, but they did not have any leakage. So this is one infant with born at 32 weeks post period of gestation with the aggressive ROP in zone 1 at presentation, who received an intravitreal ranibizumab, and at the end of 6 months when we did an angiography, we saw that the vascularization had progressed to zone 2 anterior. However, there was still presence of avascular retina. In another infant with aggressive ROP at presentation in zone 1, even after receiving 2 intravitreal ranibizumab, when the angiography was done, it showed avascular retina with presence of leakage, and the child underwent subsequent laser. Coming to the biometric profile, the axial lengths showed an increasing trend in both the groups. However, the axial lengths were higher in the ranibizumab treated eyes compared to laser at the end of 3 and 6 months. The lenses were significantly thicker in the laser treated eyes at the end of 6 months as well as 1 year compared to the ranibizumab group. The anterior chambers were also shallower in the laser-treated eyes at the end of 3 and 6 months. However, the difference was not significant at 1 year. The keratometry graph showed that the laser-treated eyes had a steeper cornea than the ranibizumab group at the end of 1 year. This is the tabulated form. We can see at the end of 1 year, the lenses were thicker in the laser-treated eyes and the keratometries were steeper in the laser-treated eyes compared to the ranibizumab group. However, there was no difference in spherical equivalent at any of the endpoint as well as at baseline. And the distribution of refractive errors was also similar in the two groups at baseline as well as at the end of 1 year. So the success rate of single treatment, that is laser in zone 1 ROP, was 93% in our study versus 47% with ranibizumab at the end of 3 months. However, we see the overall success rate that it was with ranibizumab, it was 73%. And the overall treatment success rate was only slightly higher with laser group compared to the ranibizumab group. However, there was no difference in refractive outcomes between the two groups at the end of 12 months. So to conclude, laser photocoagulation does show comparable anatomical outcomes to intravitreal ranibizumab in zone 1 ROP. However, it caused more changes in biometric parameters, especially lens thickness. And anti-VEGF injections are a good option for zone 1 ROP. And they allow the retinal vessels to grow and eliminate the side effects of ablating these large areas of retina in zone 1. However, though deferring laser by intravitreal ranibizumab seemed to outdo the development of some of the biometric changes, refractive errors were still comparable between the two groups at 1 year, thus implying that zone of disease also contributes to myopia and ROP. Thank you.
If you do a laser in ROP, then those eyes will become myopic in future. So your follow-up is just for 12 months, no?
1 year, yes ma'am.
Okay, so you need to, when you follow up these children later in their life, most of them land up in myopia,
So ma'am,
getting laser.
Yes, ma'am. But in our study, it showed that even ranibizumab treated eyes had similar refractive outcomes at the end of 1 year. At least
But your follow-up period is too less.
Yeah.
You cannot conclude on that.
yes, ma'am.
You cannot conclude that.
Perhaps the myopia is curvature myopia.
Yes,
Is
sir.
related to the
lenticular myopia. It is not axial myopia.
Yeah.
The lenses were thicker and the anterior chambers were shallower in the laser-treated eyes.
So how do you decide which eye to do a laser in zone 1? Usually zone 1 laser is like we avoid doing lasers in zone 1 ROP.
But in our study, we randomized.
How did you
We
decide that?
randomized the infants. So whoever had the zone 1 treatment requiring ROP, we randomized them and then we randomized them to laser and ranibizumab group. And then we followed
It was
up.
not need-based. You
Sorry, sir?
randomized it. It was not need-based.
No, we randomized prospectively.
Regardless of whether it was, whether it needed anti-VEGF, you still went for laser as.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
We randomized in zone 1.
So that is that is one
I
thing
mean,
which you should.
for an infant, it is difficult. So this was a
But we did show
prospective
that-
study.
Sorry, sir. It's a
This was-
prospective study.
So you got the ethical approval to randomize.
Yes, you need an ethical
We did,
approval
got
for
it.
it.
get an ethical
They
approval.
got it.
Ma'am.
Wonderful.
We also show that at the end of 1 year, like laser.
Huh?
Laser.
No, but see, if there is zone 1 ROP and if you
1.
have plus disease, you may, it is not proper to see. We all know that standard of care is laser, there's no doubt about it, but you may have to give anti-VEGF. You can't randomize it. Because we are doing a study to find out the biometric parameters, the patient has been randomized and patient should receive a laser because we want to follow them up thinking that what structure. That is
will be
like,
an ethical issue actually.
no, but they got ethical approval.
Combination treatment for any of them or is simultaneous?
No.
What?
They could administer both the treatments. Media Clarity was trying to give laser. Only then they were randomized whether they would receive laser or anti.
Okay.
Because poor Media Clarity, obviously that.
We excluded those.
We can't randomize that into laser or anti.
Fair.
And in fact, at the end of 1 year, at the end of 3 months, we did show that laser had a slightly higher treatment success compared to ranibizumab, at least in our cohort.
In terms of success, in terms of field.
In terms
Success
of
in terms-
regression of ROP,
No, regression. No.
Anatomical
But if you laser the whole zone 2 and zone 3, you're going to get a better, success. That doesn't mean that anti-VEGF doesn't stand a better chance in terms of visual field. Success has different parameters. What parameters we are talking about, that is what I was asking.
in terms of the anatomical success rate, sir.
Yeah, fair enough.
okay. Thank